Hi everyone and welcome back to my MBA channel. So this video is not going to be as much related to MBA per se, but I wanted to make this video for those who are considering getting the MBA at RSM, because RSM is located in Netherlands, and if you are going to spend a year, getting your full-time MBA, living in this country, you might want to know, some things about this country before spending a full year or more here. Now, I also want to make a disclaimer that I've only been here for 10 months, so it's not that long of a time. And also, I've only been staying here as a student, so a certain lifestyle obviously also factors into which sides of this country I have been able to explore. So, for example, people who move here with kids and need to consider kindergartens or schools or things like that. Those are the things that I cannot analyze because I haven't encountered them. And also, I haven't worked in here yet, so that's why I also didn't really encounter much of a tax system or anything related to that side. So those are my disclaimers. So one more disclaimer, I really don't want to offend any of the Dutch people, and I realize that I'm a guest here, but I believe, in everyone having their own opinion, and I have traveled the world, and I really can say that every single country, has minuses and pluses, including my own country in Belarus, and I think open discussion and, sharing our opinions is something that everyone can benefit from. Negative number one for me, because I'm a foodie, would be the Dutch food. Now, Dutch food is honestly, to my taste, is not the best. It's not very versatile, and compared, for example, to, I don't know, French cuisine, where you can find pastries and cheese, or Spanish cuisine, where you have beautiful, tapas on every corner, or Italian with their pizza and, pasta and beautiful desserts. Dutch cuisine, in my opinion, loses points on that side. They have their bitterballen, which are little meatballs. They have sandwiches, snacks. But the food culture, in my opinion, is not the strongest here, and this is something that I really miss by living here. Second thing that I don't like about Netherlands is the weather. As you can see, this is November. Of course, this is autumn, but it is raining. It is, I think, about 5 degrees Celsius right now. So, as compared, let's say, to my own country, to Belarus, this is not much different. But if you are living in warm countries or have been, working in warm countries like I did, you will really miss the sun. And starting, let's say, from October all the way to March or April, you probably would want to consider taking vitamin D, because you're not going to see too much of the sun. Minus number three for me is the language, because the official language of the Netherlands, of course, is Dutch. I mean, it's of course a beautiful thing that a country has their own language, but at the same time, the only countries that people speak Dutch in the world is pretty much Netherlands. Netherlands, Antilles, and a little portion of Belgium. So if I were to learn the language, which I have started, and I see, the value of knowing the language of the country where you live in, and, I respect that. But at the same time, this is not the language which I would be able to utilize if I were to, move somewhere else, as opposed to, let's say, languages like English, Spanish, or even French. Minus number four for me are the prices and the cost of living here in the Netherlands. If you are doing well in terms of your job, if you have enough savings, I guess you'll be okay. I'm still here 10 months in, even without having a job, but just being a student. But compared to some of the other European countries, prices, of course, are quite high, and that goes both for rent, entertainment, food, beauty services. Just for you to have an idea, I pay here for manicure perhaps 6 times, which what would I have paid, let's say, in Spain. And yes, I realize this is a high developed country, and all these prices and what people pay comes back to them from what they receive from the government, the benefits from the government. But at the same time, if you're living here, let's say like right now, I do as a student, it's not very cheap, and you really have to be prepared and have a particular sum put aside for you to stay here, or live a very modest life without having too much of a, pleasures or luxuries surrounding you. Finally, my minus number five, which is quite important, especially when you consider, staying in a country or living in a country as you, grow older, is the medical system. Here in Netherlands, even though the hospitals and the polyclinics, they're very well equipped and the staff is quite expert and proficient, but the whole system of medicine, medical system is quite complex. For example, in order to see any kind of doctor that you wanted to see, I don't know, a gynecologist or a surgeon or whatever the doctor might be, you first need to go through the general practitioner. And like, for example, in my country, we have public medical system and also private one. So if I don't want to make use of the public one, which is free, I can at any time make an appointment in any of the private polyclinics and go be seen by a specialist. But that's not the case here in the Netherlands. So when you come to this country, first of all, there is a mandatory insurance. So whether you want to be insured or don't want to be insured, you have to be insured here. And the regular rate, I think, is about 100 euros a month if you live here. For students, it's a little bit less, but it just depends, what kind of insurance company you find. But anyway, like I was saying, you have to go see the general practitioner. And from I just had one experience, but I also had friends and classmates encountering this system. Very often, in order for them to redirect you to a specialist, it has to be something really grave and serious. Otherwise, they would just give you paracetamol. Now into the good things. One will be general infrastructure, and in particularly infrastructure for the bicycles. Now, this is a bicycle country to common knowledge. I think the amount of bicycles and bicycle riders in this country is one of the highest on the planet. And everything here is meant for convenience of a bicycle rider. Of course, bicycles is a very sustainable and energy-saving way of commuting here. Many people commute by bicycle, especially because the public transportation can be quite expensive. But everything is accommodated for the bike riders. There's paths for bikes everywhere. They're most of the time separate from the main road. And there are parking lots for bicycles everywhere. There's even a system for evacuating the bicycles if they're not parked in the right place, which made my dad living in Belarus laugh a lot. Number two, and this is something that is really important for me, for example, is safety. The criminal rate in this country is not very high. So, for example, when I decide after a night at a club, live in the club at 4 a.m. to walk around at night and, watch the stars all by myself and ponder about life, I can do that. I'm not saying that nothing ever is going to happen to you. Obviously, you have to use your common sense. But overall, I feel safe in this country. And apart from, minor, things like stolen bikes or, stolen backpacks in the bar that happened to some of my classmates, I haven't really heard about any major happenings in terms of criminality. And I think this is really safe when you consider living here, having kids here, and staying here, let's say, for the rest of your life. Number three, for me, it's the public spaces. Yes, the taxes are really high here in Netherlands, which I haven't worked here yet, so I haven't encountered, but I know. But at the same time, all this money comes back and things are really clean, organized, things are working. So things are continuously being improved, such as railways, and you never really see things that are abandoned or trashed or ruined, and no one is taking care of that. When the spring comes out, you'll see the beautiful flowers set everywhere, and those are all public spaces. So this is a government who is taking care of that. Thing number four from the pluses for me would be the government, the state, and its services. So far, I have only have dealt with the government on two different occasions. Well, first of all, I had, of course, to register at a city hall and get my resident permit, and I have a separate video about that. It was, pretty easy and well organized. And number two is getting a subsidy for my living, because I do qualify as a student for part of the money given back to me. So everything is electronic. There is no such thing as massive lines, which we sometimes encounter in, let's say, our post-Soviet countries. So you make an appointment online, you come, you get invited to see the government official during your time. Everything is very efficient, very fast. Wherever they don't need people, things are electronic as well. So in those two instances, in those two occasions, I didn't really encounter any bureaucracy, any delays, or 5 million papers that you have to submit, or wait for one thing and the other thing. So both occasions that I encountered, dealing with the government officials, things were very efficient, very fast, very organized, and bureaucracy free. Positive thing number five is the language. I know language was one of the minuses, but at the same time, English is the language spoken widely here in the Netherlands, and I think apart from the countries where English is the native language, let's say USA, UK, Australia, this is one of the very few, if not the only country in the world that, from the ones that I have seen dozens and dozens of countries where every single person speaks English. So basically, they do have both Dutch and English in daily use every day. And I'm yet to see one person, no matter where I come, whether it's a beauty salon or a shop, a store, anywhere. There was never ever one time where someone could not explain to me or answer my question. And a bonus plus of living in the Netherlands is beautiful men that live here. So if you consider moving here, looking for a partner, looking for a husband, looking for a boyfriend, well, there's an abundance of very good looking, tall Dutch men walking around. All right, well, that would be it with my video about pluses and minuses of living here in Netherlands. I personally really enjoyed this 10 months that I have been here, and I don't know how much longer am I going to stay in this country. That's this question is still in the air, but I just wanted to, share these opinions of myself with you. And one more time, like I said, with all due respect to the country and the wonderful people that live here, I didn't really have any negative experiences, after the 10 months that I've stayed here. So thanks all for watching. Share in the comments what you think, whether you agree with the pluses and minuses or not. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to put those likes if you enjoyed the video, or dislikes if you didn't like it. Subscribe, press that little bell button to get notifications for my new videos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks all. Bye.